Good morning. I'd like to call the Tuesday, November 19th meeting of the St. Joseph County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. We have no.
Don't you want to go grab the flag out
Gotcha.
there?
We will dispense this time with the Pledge of Allegiance, since we don't have a flag in this room. I want to thank the council, Jim Praywat and Melissa, for all their work. We had a lot of meetings going on today. As you can see, we're at the council committee.
None more important than this president back there.
Some might argue. Let's start with the approval of the accounts payable docket. Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter.
Aye.
Commissioner Baxmeyer
Aye.
and Commissioner Hayes.
Aye.
Carries the docket approved.
Next, bills passed by the county council. Suggest they will all approve unanimously, that we approve them all.
There's one point that we address with respect to 8724, which is the approval of the handbook. We had a lot of different versions flying, so I didn't catch this originally, but the version that was attached to the ordinance that was signed off by the council is actually a version that was not the one that was actually approved. So I've talked to the council attorney, and we're just going to substitute the version that could be approved to the ordinance signed off. I want to point that out, and I've got the version that's been attached. Take it to the committee tonight. Serving for their record. I wanted to make you aware that that was signed on what was supposed to be attached to. I didn't make that clear, so it's my fault, but just wanted to bring that to your attention.
What are you adding?
What we're doing is there was two versions of the handbook. One, an exemption for correction officers to do come. And the version that was approved by the council was the version that did not exempt them. Okay, so that's the change. The other thing was there was an amendment from the floor to extend the agreement 5 days for certain group organizations. So that's in the corrected version. So those are the differences, but to conform the actual copy that's attached to the ordinance to what was approved, I'm pointing that out.
So if we approve it, then it has to go back to them to add that.
We're just gonna slide in this.
Just slide in?
Substitute it for what was attached to the
So the bottom line, if it's approved, everything would be legal and.
Yes, yeah, but I'm letting you know that, so the motion is to approve as adopted by the council with respect to 8722. So you may want to pull that out and do that separately.
Okay. We have a motion to pass ordinances 8124, 8224, 8324, 8424.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Hazen,
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter,
Aye.
and Commissioner Beck.
Aye.
Carries. Those ordinances enumerated have been approved by the commissioners.
Now do we have a motion to approve 8724 as amended
And adopted by the council.
and adopted by the council?
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Hazen,
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, and Commissioner Beck.
Aye.
The motion carries and 8724 is approved.
Next is an appointment to the Historic Preservation Commission. And we have a motion to open nominations. Motion to open nominations.
Second.
Commissioner Hazen,
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter.
Aye.
Commissioner Beck.
Aye.
Motion carries, nominations open.
I'd like to nominate Catherine Huff. She has served previously as counsel to the Historic Preservation Commission. I think she would be a fine addition to the commission itself. Second.
We need a motion to close it.
Motion. Motion to close the nominations. Second.
Commissioner, Hazen. Leader. And Commissioner Dyson.
Aye.
Motion carries, nominations closed.
Motion to approve Catherine Huff. I'll make that. Second.
2 seconds, that makes it square. Commissioner Peter. Commissioner Hazen. And Commissioner Baxter.
Aye.
Motion carries, Catherine Howe was approved to historic preservation.
Move to approval of the Trinity Protection Group agreement for the county city building security services.
Yes, sir. So, we'll talk about the past couple of years.
For the record.
My name is Brandon Schmidt. I'm one of the 2 owners of Trinity Protection Group. I'm here representing the business here today. We can start off, I guess, the past 2 years, they've been great for us here. We appreciate the relationship and the working relationship we developed. We think the security plan that was implemented originally, the best way and the good way that we decided was kind of fluid. We changed things as we needed to. We trimmed down on the things we didn't need. Overall, it's gone fantastic. The feedback from the building has been overwhelming. We have I have a handful of letters of recommendation with the boards, including the mayor's office. The statistics are kind of overwhelming, but we keep track of them. You know, just basic numbers. Public entrance headcount over 2024 was 275,000 people. So, I mean, it's 275,000 screenings of intimate involvements with people coming through the door, and literally only a handful of complaints. The professionalism we try to do is just remarkable. So we propose a 5-year contract with 4% annual rate increase. The terms of our contract and the scope of work remain the same. Now we have exceptionally more responsibility than we initially took on. Billy Pelletier is on. He is the security director on site for the building. I think he can mention a little bit more. But essentially, we propose to keep the same people on staff with the rates as documented. And then the important thing to keep in mind, you guys still have the power to come to us and we can work on it to change things as needed. Security, we understand, is fluid and ever changing. Things can change day to day. Maybe more is needed, maybe less is needed. We understand that. But we look forward to hopefully have the opportunity to continue working. Billy, are you able to speak?
Can't get his.
All right, yeah, they just unmuted. Yeah, I did hear everything that Brandon said. You know, just to reiterate, we have taken on more responsibility, and it was no trouble to do so. It was just needs that we saw to help enforce like security across the street that they requested from us, and we jumped in and said no problem. We'll manage to go across the street in the law building to do security perimeter checks that we've been doing in our building. As you can see, the number of perimeter checks we do, we pretty much did 2,441 to today's date. That means we've gone through every floor, all 14 floors. We do 4 in the morning, 4 in the afternoon. And that includes 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon at the law building across the street. We've also taken on the responsibility of the information center to basically be able to inform guests, you know, where we are going. And I can tell you it's very helpful to have a person there and know where all the floors are, which we've been able to pretty much memorize and help and assist. Now, sometimes, you know, the people still get confused, but that's on their own. We're trying to find locations themselves, and we hear from other people. We try to best redirect them where they need to go. I'm not sure what else you guys want me to state in this meeting, but I would be happy to continue. If you guys have questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I would just like to say, since I've been here, this is one of the most important things that I change right out of the gate, because that's my world and what I do also. I still employees, which is good. So, but you think of 250,000 people coming here in a year. And Billy keeps out weekly stats, which I believe everybody gets, number of guns that were stopped in, the number of knives, any other things that's been needed. And there, I have not gotten one complaint of the way that people were treated. They did a phenomenal job during the voting, which was pretty hectic. So from that to new EMA to new maintenance person, we've done a lot of good things up the ante here in the county, and this has been probably one of the most important because it does deal with security. It does deal with the safety of all of our employees, in addition to people who come in here. And I think the general public, there's any media covering, just to know that they had over a 250,000 people come in this building. That's an immense amount of people coming in, and everybody's been kept safe, which was the goal of this. So I'm highly in favor of that. Billy does a phenomenal job, and I don't know how many others, but we get the weekly, this is how many people we made. There's a gun, a knife, whatever, there's an arrest made. I know that, they helped the lady who was having a seizure outside, and all the other stuff that y'all see during the day out in front that happened. So it's been a good hire by the county, and I recommend highly that.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't heard our stats, but basically from last year to even this year, knives went from 691 to 931. We're still not at the end of the year. Pepper sprays went from 254 last year to 374 this year. Guns, live ammo tasers. Basically, we've 10 last year, 13 we've recovered this year, 3 during the voting itself. We had to turn people away that were trying to bring arms in to vote. But you know, those are pretty good numbers that we've been able to record and send to you guys on a weekly basis. So we are definitely doing our best to keep people from bringing stuff into the building that they're not supposed to be.
Right, and if you remember, the old people, saying old to that, but the previous security people, if you would come in, if were awake, certainly now we have people that are fit. They're able to use their ability if needed, as opposed to some guy who's punched over the door when we come on in. So it's very happy with what Billy and you guys have done.
I'll second what Commissioner Dieter said. I've been coming to this building for a long time. Only last 6 months as a commissioner, so I get to watch your employees every day. And from what I've seen, it's the best that I've ever seen here. Customer service, professionalism. I mean, everybody on your staff treats everybody with respect, and we all appreciate that.
Oh, I agree with what's been said. I think the security has been excellent. The only problem I have is a 5-year contract. We're gonna have changes in this order. That's gonna be changes in our security. So if you would agree to the 1-year contract, let's see where we're at as the year goes by, with departments potentially moving out. Man, may be less, it may be more. We need to do that. I just have a problem with a 5-year.
What do you say to that?
So I don't mind coming here and checking in and going over things. I think with the contract length, it gives some stability to everyone involved. What we try to consider as an employer is I want to keep the people that work for me in here. It gives them some security. You know, someone like Billy Pelletier with his credentials and his opportunities with a 1-year contract, and these are my problems, but if we can hammer them out today, it gives him more security to help me retain him and keep this thing like it is. You know what I mean? I think we're always open to, like I said, if things change, the environment changes. We understand that. We're not here to paint anyone in a corner. I think if anything, it shows the commitment between you guys and puts someone like Billy Pelletier at ease, John Croner. I mean, between these guys, the police experience is decades, you know, so what I would worry is we lose some people and then we can't do what we're doing now. I mean, he's an integrant intricate part of what goes on here, and it's become so much more than security work. We're generally woven into the fabric of this building now in all the different departments, and like he's saying, customer service, directing traffic, how do I get here, where do I get that? It's not just screening and then cutting them loose, like if we could get away from, it's not just a security contract. I mean, we're employees of the county essentially. These guys are running down, chasing down maintenance issues, all kinds of stuff. Ultimately, I think if we can do 2 years again, that's what we did initially. If that's fair, I understand 5 years is a long time, you know, but I would ask, can we do 2 years? And it shows a commitment from everyone. And then ultimately the decision is up to you guys. You guys do have terms in the contract to terminate it if needed. We're open to that. It's not the budget is what we have to spend. It's not what we have to spend. We're willing to work with you guys if we can. We just ask to be brought to the table if you're like, hey, we feel like we need one less. If we can just have an open year of dialogue, and if it's legitimate and feasible, fine. If we can cut costs, we're always open to that. But I feel like the partnership, it would be detrimental if we don't do at least the 2 years to give these guys some security.
Well, I appreciate your comments and thoughts. But locking us into a 5-year contract with a 4% increase every year,
Yeah,
I understand why you, having been in the private sector, I certainly understand why you and the company would feel that way. However, I'm not sure we're gonna be able to give 4% raises to people going forward.
sure.
So that's why I'm really having a problem with the 5 years.
Is it?
Well,
Well,
the contract does allow you to sit down and terminate, so that's your leverage. Okay.
how about if I make a motion for a 2 year?
Make the motion. I'll second.
Okay, motion.
Yes, sir. I'm happy to continue the work. We really appreciate it.
We appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Yes, sir.
it. Professionalism is great, and Billy and John, everything.
All right, well, we have a motion, so Commissioner Hayes,
Right.
Commissioner Dean, and Commissioner Betts. Right, motion carries. Your contract with 50. I appreciate you. Thank you. It's so to be all.
Next, a bid award for the courthouse one redo project.
Bree Roberts, Director of Procurement for St. James County. So this is the award of our bid process for the courthouse one re-roof rehabilitation project. So we had 4 bidders total, and I think the bid tabulation as well as our architecture firm, Kill Architecture, their recommendation, I think, was included in your packet. Slate tile roofing and sheet metal comes in with the lowest base bid at $1,777,812. And so both Keel and Department of Procurement would recommend that you award that base bid to slate tile roofing and sheet metal. When we go down to alternates, the one alternate that would be recommended would be alternate number 4. This is a deduct price to provide alternate tile support structure and nail base in lieu of the base bid, which calls for vertical battens and horizontal nailing strips. And this is actually a deduct alternate. So a deduct of $30,000 to that base bid. And so our expected contract amount, given all that information, would be $1,747,812. That contract would come to you at a follow-up meeting. We do anticipate also a change order 1 so that we can hopefully start some work before this March 30th date that slate tile is projected to start, just so that we can get the courthouse in the dry during the winter season. But we would recommend this board's award to slate tile roofing and sheet metal with a contract follow.
I had the opportunity to sit in and talk to Keel, to John. Responsible, won't come out of the community. I think it'd be a good job for us. Having said that, any questions? Negative. If not, do we have approval to bid award for courthouse one building project at slate tile roofing and sheet metal? Second.
Commissioner Dieter. Commissioner Hazen.
Aye.
Commissioner Beck. Motion carries, bid awarded to the courthouse re-roof project at Slate Town.
Next, the bid award for snow and ice management services.
Bree Roberts, Director for Retirement again. So this is our center RFP, our snow and ice management services RFP that went out. We engaged a number of contractors, but only came down to 2 submitted proposals. We would recommend that award go to Preferred Tree Service LLC as the most responsive and responsible bidder for these. There are some small changes just to note in the facilities, so addition of the archives facility, and some walkway service to the Dukem Center as well. There is actually a reduction in the cost to the police post number that was given, because the post actually communicated that they will push their own snow in the parking lot. And so for her, we'll be taking care of the walkways for them, so that is a small price reduction there. I think with the amount of proposals that were sent out, we did try to garner a lot of interest for this. With only coming down to 2 proposals, I would say that for her is very capable of performing these services for us. They are scaled to be able to handle this for us. And we would recommend that we award these facilities to her.
They gonna, at the archive, we just, they're gonna do their lot.
Yeah, it's that small side lot and then both the walkways front and back, yep. They were inadvertently left out and I did speak with Katrina.
And again, this is another improvement that's been made over the years previously in-house and it was a mess. Appreciate you guys with a good group. And again, there's a lot of people just don't bid, like they take the big wire lots and stuff, but we've got so many properties and sidewalks and stuff, not like drop a plow and you can see a lot of hand and all that, so.
Well, we did send out 13 requests for bid, that we received 2.
And I would note that of the 2, one of them was a multi-year contract. Back to previous comments, this is a 1-year contract.
Agreed.
So I've got that Caruso on this thing.
Any other questions or comments? If not, do we have a motion to approve the award for the snow and ice management services?
Yeah. Commissioner Dieter. Hazen.
Aye.
And Commissioner Beck.
Aye.
Motion carried, bid award for snow and ice management services to cover approved.
IPG, approval of engineering services agreement and addendum for the Alexander Drive Satellite Garage. Storage.
Sky Meadows, Department of Structure Planning and Growth, offices on the 7th, 11th floor of the County City Building. What this item is from a contract with DLZ to do the design, prepare the contract documents and to do some construction inspection for the we'll call it second phase of the Alexander Road projects. The first phase is the fueling station, the grading and the salt barn, which is underway. And this phase is for the actual garage building itself, where we'll be putting the trucks and all the work that needs to be done for that, sewer hookups and other roadway type items and the building itself. So that number is for that contract is $475,000. We've reviewed that and request your approval and be willing to answer any questions.
Are the leaves being dumped out there?
I believe, I'm not sure. I think they might be.
Have a lease agreement. Scott.
Yes. Not on the port, not where construction's taking place, not on.
We essentially purchased half the property.
Right.
And the owners of the other half agreed to allow us to build these temporarily on the other half.
Also dumping with the old Ranger site.
They are not dumping their current.
Stopped, done some use there, right?
That site is currently being demolished.
Gonna have the assault barn done by Thursday.
I don't think so, but things are moving pretty good. Waiting on, materials and stuff like that. And there's still backlog of stuff, but the contractor is moving pretty good. I mean, we will be able to use that salt barn yet this winter. Which is great.
Related To this, but what's the Woodland garage situation?
Woodland, we have moved forward with the initial repairs that we had put on hold because of the fire, and we have a contract with that. We have a change order with that contractor to also do the repairs necessary from the fire and to do some code upgrades.
There's a temporary dome building or something?
We did purchase a temporary building as part of the insurance because we're not gonna be able to use that storage building for trucks this year. So we purchased and had the contractor put up a temporary storage building that is one of those things where on paper, it doesn't look as big as it is when it's out there. So it's a pretty good sized building, and it's something that, once we get things built, that you're able to take it down and move it wherever you need it. So it's something that we have as a county now that we can use as needed wherever, once we get Woodland up and running.
So the old building, is this gonna be demolished? What's left of it?
No, the old building itself, we're gonna go ahead and do the repair. There's certain repairs that need to be done to take care of the damage from the fire. And so we're still gonna have the old building. It's just gonna be repaired to make sure that it's structurally sound and also upgraded for code items like fire suppression, which maybe a little bit late for that, but we'll get it next time. So.
This is the record DLC phase one.
Yes, sir.
Continuation started. Yes. Any other questions?
Negative.
If not, do we have a motion to go through the engineering services agreement? DLZ for the Alexander Drive Satellite Garage.
Hello,
there.
Hazen,
Aye.
Peter, and Commissioner Benson.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries, agreement approved.
Next, for the IBC approval of the Real Green Lawn Care Contract, for SJC Code Enforcement.
Abby Wilds, APC Director, Department of ITG, offices on the 7th and 11th floor. This is a addendum to renew a contract with Real Green Lawn Care. Real Green is one of our contractors for the code enforcement program. This particular contractor does most of our mowing and then a lot of our smaller scale cleanups. We had the initial term of the contract was 1 year. Based on it being successful, we'd like to ask for a 3-year renewal, which we've done with our other contractors in the code enforcement program. Happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I would like to compliment you and your staff. That was another one of the things that started code enforcement program. Been very successful. The guys do a tremendous job. Like again, one of the models that we used was Garden Road, which was a mess, and they cleaned that excellent. Got a lot of compliment from that, so I appreciate all the work you're doing, and that's another small part of the whole process of once we do stuff to keep it clean and everybody's fine. I think you're doing a good job, thank you.
Yeah, in keeping with my original comment regarding security and my what is right? How will the fee be established?
So fees for code enforcement are done on a case-by-case basis. For our initial agreement with each of our mowing and cleanup contractors, they are to give us an estimate for the work to be repaired or to be completed. So our one of our code enforcement inspectors sends a request to a contractor for an estimate. Say it is a mowing job or a small cleanup job, the contractor will come back with a quote for say $400. If that is satisfactory to the inspector, they would approve the estimate and then give authorization for the contractor to proceed. Once the contractor finishes the job, proof of completion, usually photos via email, are sent to the inspector. And then before the invoice is turned over for payment, the inspector and I confirm that it is consistent with the estimate and then turn it over for payment. So it doesn't tie us into any specific price. They're all quoted on a case-by-case basis.
Oh, now it is specified in the budget.
Correct. And then also any work orders that are over $2,500 require approval by our procurement director as an additional safeguard to ensure that we don't have a lot of high dollar cleanups.
Any other questions?
Aye. Motion carries. Real green lawn care contract.
Moving on to the police department, memorandum of understanding concerning the annual burn justice and system grant program.
Seeking an executive officer for the department, 401 West Sample. This is an annual, been going on for years. And it's just a somewhat piggyback up South Bend to get the burn justice assistance grant. We would not qualify on it. Our intent with the money we get this year is to purchase some Motorola portable radios, purchased 2 from commissary last year. The current radios we have, we replaced them all 5 years ago. They still have a long life, but we want to be kind of proactive because Motorola has now come out with a new product, which means eventually they're going to the sun will fed on the serviceability of those radios instead of one big large chunk of much proactive buy some over the next few years and match this with commissary buy a 5 radios for the year.
How much is the grant?
Well, the cost will be $10,449. Total $133,000.
If I remember, doesn't South Bend get a big chunk of that?
They get the biggest trouble.
What do they do? Brandon, could you elaborate?
I'm not here to speak. Okay.
The big boom box that they use for.
We're not buying a blue box.
Then we have a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding. Some more distance.
Thank you, Mr. Beckman. Aye. Motion carries. Memorandum of understanding regarding annual burn justice grant program.
Dr. Jane Bird.
No, it's actually named after off the field. Fire. They have. Built.
Public comments, and we have a couple of people signed up.
We do. Our first speaker is.
Yeah, Al Kurtz at St. Joe County EMA. I'm here with my Deputy Director, Jim Lopez, and we just wanted to let you know that we got the signatures back from the mayor of Mishawaka, the mayor of South Bend. So we think for the first time ever, we have all 3 signatures that are required by the state, the president of the commissioners, President Baxmeyer, and then the mayors of South Bend. So, and this comprehensive emergency management plan is reviewed each year. It has annexes. Those are addendums to different areas, but it has basically all the information of the major players like Sky Medors and his crew and amount of equipment. He helped us on it. Same with South Bend, Mishawaka. It's just a resource for everybody. It's not us telling you how to run your agency for what whatever your disaster or whatever you're trying to mitigate. But it just shows you all the resources and equipment available. We're pretty proud of that, and we think it's up to date. It's kind of a living document, so that, anything to add, Jim?
Nope, other than it'll be reviewed in December. January, you'll receive a new copy with, if there's any changes, there might be, as Buddy said, you addendum, and we will let you know. So as far as the plan itself goes, there will be no real changes. Thank you.
Matt, yours is?
Hi there, Commissioner. Matt Mearsman. Technically, I'm an employee of the Michigan Area Council of Governments up on the 11th floor, but I serve as the director of the St. Joseph River Basin Commission. St. Joseph County is one of 6 member counties. The commission was established to address water quality and flood mitigation concerns in the larger St. Joe River watershed. And I just wanted to give you guys an update on a project we've been doing here in St. Joe County. Phillips Ditch is a tributary to Bowman Creek, and it flows through the Jewel Woods neighborhood, which has made the news several times for flooding issues. Some of you may remember that McCormick Engineering did a study to design a sort of a retention system, trying to see if we could make an impact in the flood levels in that neighborhood by detaining water upstream. The price tag for that project was huge, so no action was taken to move forward with it. But speaking with McCormick Engineering, there was an absence of data to actually do the calculations. And Dave thought that, you know, with some real data, we might be able to design something a little smaller, a little more cost effective that could make a difference. So we have deployed 4 stream gauges, basically water level monitoring devices out in the watershed, south part of the county. And we've been collecting data for about 2 years now. I think we'll probably need more like 3 to 5 years total to really get a handle on those calculations. But it is something we're pretty excited about, and there's a website you can go on and see what the levels are like. And sometimes there's not any water. The stream is really unusual. I think something to consider. I'm kind of a river geek myself, but I think even for lay people, this is a pretty interesting thing, and that is, we tend to think that the further downstream you go on a river, the more water is going to be in it. It picks up tributaries along the way and the volume increases. Well, it turns out that rivers can gain and lose water. They can lose water to groundwater. And so we have sections of Phillips Ditch that are upstream and have water flowing in them. Not a lot, but some. And then you go to the next road crossing downstream and there's no water in the ditch. So it's a very interesting system. And so we had to place these gauges sort of strategically to get a sense of how water's moving through there. So appreciate your support and participation. The county's got several sort of statutory positions on the commission, great participation, and appreciate the support. So just want to give you an update.
Sounds like the new surveyor should get with him and get this stuff. You should. Okay.
Peter knows he will have a seat on the commission. He has one now, and he'll just change spots.
So we get the nice spiffy little jackets like they have with the patches.
Gotta get authorized by the state. With our, maybe they have a ditch.
Any other comments?
Yeah.
Speak.
Online, we have Cheryl Nix.
Cheryl?
Good morning, Commissioner. Cheryl Nix, Clay Township. I just wanted to express a little disappointment that you've split this meeting into 2 parts, because when you proposed monthly 6 p.m. meetings, my understanding was that that would be giving working residents access to all this information that you've just gone through today. And instead, tonight is going to be awards, also always a lovely thing. But I would prefer that your 6 p.m. meetings be full commissioner meetings, so people understand about the contracts you write, you sign, the information that's there about what's happening with code enforcement, emergency management, etc. The other thing I wanted to speak to was the concept of privatization. We're hearing more and more of it at the state level, at the federal level, and even here locally. You've privatized maintenance and security. At the national level, we have privatization of prisons. They're talking about Social Security and Medicare, the Weather Service. And that concerns me because there's the possibility of pay to play and those kinds of things. So I just wanted to say I'm grateful that locally our 911 call centers remained county run. So is our emergency management, highway department, code enforcement, public health. I do think it's critical that we maintain county run agencies. So thank you for allowing me to speak. I appreciate it.
I will note that, you still run our facility maintenance. There was a suggestion that we privatize that. Which we do not.
Wait, we have one more speaker.
Sorry, I forgot the, and Guy Metters, 1550 Byron Drive, South Indiana, county engineer. I just wanted to say real quick, thank you to Pete, Carl, and Courtney and her group on the employee manual. A lot of work that went into that, and you know, the first thing that a lot of people say is, well, how are we getting, I mean, how is this gonna affect us? And a lot of times the first thing is negatively, but I know for a fact that you guys put a lot of work in to make sure that no one lost any time when in the benefit time of PTO, whereas it could have been, you could have made it a lot simpler and done some things, but you chose to make sure that no one was losing any time. And I want to thank you guys for that and the effort that was put into that. And I think when it's all said and done and people really look at the numbers, they'll understand that it's not going to negatively affect our personnel. It's a good thing, and I think it'll be a very good thing moving forward with new hires. So thanks for the time and everything, effort that went into that. Thank you.
Another minute and 30 seconds.
I'm good. I'm not very long-winded.
Yeah, I'd also like to second that of the work that y'all put in. Again, since I've been here, that's always been a hodgepodge of papers. Oh, you know, remember we did this one time ago, Pete, why aren't we doing this? So I'm glad all of our employees were taken care of, and when people brought up the fact that they were losing time or whatever, everybody looked into it and said, yeah, we're not gonna take trouble with it. But again, that's not reinventing the wheel, but like tightening it up, so at least we're organized and we know what we're doing. Well, thanks for everyone doing that. Takes a team, Brandon.
I agree.
If there are no further comments, motion to recess.
Something second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. It's simple.
Good.
Yeah.